Well, May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and the truth is 1 in 5 adults experiences some form of mental illness. In her new memoir, Breaking Into My Life, Michelle Dickinson Moravec shares her personal experience of having a mother who struggled with bipolar disorder, hoping to prompt more open discussion of mental illness. Good morning, Michelle. Good to have you here with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
This is a memoir. It tells a very honest story about some very interesting struggles that you had from a very young age. Why did you decide you wanted to share your story?
So for me, growing up with my bipolar mom was a struggle and required me to do some soul searching and some healing. And once I began down the journey of healing myself, I knew that I had something worth sharing that I could make a difference with. So for me, it was a combination of healing myself, but also the greater commitment was being a contribution in the space of removing the stigma.
Mm-hmm. It seems like in the book you talk about the negative aspects that going through this kind of lifestyle had on you, but also some positive impacts.
Yes.
Kind of give us both sides of that.
Yeah, so when you are a caregiver to a loved one with a mental illness, you tend to very easily get lost in caring for them, and you lose yourself and you lose what matters to you. So I've learned that that was pretty much how I grew up, was putting the needs of my mother first. So that was maybe not so positive. But on the positive side, I learned how to have empathy and truly understand people in a deep way. So I think that's positive.
And the interesting thing, the book is broken down into kind of like 3 specific chapters, and the last one's kind of like coming out of the dark for you. And there's the realization. Was it an aha moment for you, or was it a long process to kind of get to where you could go back to finding your own life in your own way?
Yeah, I think it was over the course of writing this book that took about 4 years. It was a journey of peeling back the layers and really understanding myself. When you have to literally recount experiences and put it on paper, you start to really reflect in a deep way. So for me, it was a journey. And then toward writing the end of the book, what I thought was going to be a different ending turned out to be some revelations that I was having even in the writing of the book. So truthfully, breaking into my life was really what happened throughout the journey.
One of the big things we talk about is the stigma of talking about mental illness, and now that you've got this book, it was published a couple of months ago. What's been the feedback from people both who know you and don't know you and know you now through the book?
Amazing, absolutely amazing. And I'm most inspired by the difference it's making in the mental health community. I had a colleague of mine reach out to me, and I'm so touched by this. He struggles with bipolar disorder himself, and he now has a very unique perspective on the impact that he's had on his loved ones that he didn't have line of sight to. So I'm very grateful. The feedback has been amazing because truly I'm making a difference for people, and that's all I ever really wanted to do.
Mm-hmm. And one of the interesting things too is to be able to find resources.
Yes. Exactly. So I have a great website, breakingintomylife.com, where I do have resources and tools for people. I'd love for them to take a look at that, because you have people that struggle in silence. There's a fear, as we talked about the stigma, the fear of not getting help. Treatment is out there, and treatment can be effective. So, more people becoming courageous enough to talk about it, to seek the treatment, to collaborate with each other is really going to make a difference.
Mm-hmm. And you want to make people more open about talking about it. Do you find that stigma is kind of going away?
I am so hopeful, because yes, I do, because just in sharing my book, when I talk to complete strangers, I tell them I've written this book, and they all have a connection to mental illness. It's whether it's a loved one, a sibling, themselves, it opens the door to a conversation, and it makes me realize how common it is. And if it's that common, why are we not talking about it?
Mm-hmm. And the thing too is you don't want to suffer in silence.
Right,
exactly. And you don't have to suffer in silence.
Right.
The part of the title of the book is My Battle to Reclaim Myself. Not giving away the end of the book, but have you been able to reach that point?
I think so. I think so. I'd be foolish to say that I figured everything out, because I haven't. I'm still discovering. I think we're all learners. So I'm still looking, and still, always looking within myself for what's there for me to uncover. But I do believe that the writing of this book has helped me realize some wonderful things.
And what are you hoping that the reader will get as the takeaway from reading your story?
Yeah, so the statistics are out there about mental illness. You said them earlier. You said 1 in 4 people struggle, right? So that's a statistic, and it's very neutral. But when you humanize and you put a face to mental illness, which is what I really hope to do with this book, people can start to see what mental illness could look like, and then they can start to have compassion. And when you have compassion, there's an access for people to start to talk about it, because, you know, we're connected. When there's compassion, it's harder to look at things as just a number. You know, it's easier to connect with someone and go, wow, I just read this story about this woman who had bipolar disorder. I get it, and you know, I'm here for you.
And
right?
this has kind of given you a new path in life too.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's fulfilling. It's incredibly fulfilling to be a contribution in a space where so many people are suffering. So if I can help and be a drop in the bucket to move that needle, I'm honored.
Well, we appreciate you doing it, and thank you so much for sharing your story.
You're welcome.
And best of luck with the book. The book is called Breaking Into My Life by Michelle Dickinson Moravec and is available now.